Welcome back, sports fans. In this segment, I'm going to talk a little bit about Matt Stafford's career against the Jaguars, as well as some of the other keys to tomorrow's game. Matt Stafford is 2-0 in his career against the Jaguars. He's averaging 282 yards passing per game. However, one thing that's interesting is even though he's thrown more than 200 touchdown passes in the NFL, he has not thrown one against the Jaguars. And on the other hand, you have Gardner Minshew, who's averaging more than 300 yards passing so far for the Jaguars this season. And thankfully, the Lions' pass defense is ranked 13th in the league. However, like I said, to me, one concern is the Lions' pass rush pass rush, but their run defense is what I meant to say. Their pass rush is a little bit of a concern too. However, I'll get to that in a minute. The Lions are allowing over 170 yards per game in this season, which I said ranks them last in the NFL. Last week, the Texans, who are ranked second to last against the run, held the Jaguars to 75 yards while they were able to run for 129. I don't know if the Lions are going to be able to run for 129 yards against the Jaguars or not. However, they're certainly capable of running for over 100 yards, and so far this season they're averaging more than 101 yards rushing per game. So 110, 115 yards is not out of the realm of possibility. I don't know that they're going to be able to hold the Jaguars to 75 yards rushing, and bear in mind the Texans were without a win last week until they beat the Jaguars, and that game was in Houston. And this game will be in Jacksonville. Be a little bit different, and it will be with fans in the stands, which I'll get to later on. If the Lions can hold the Jaguars to 110 yards rushing, I would say that would be a winning formula, but they're also going to have to contain Gardner Minshew. And based on where their pass defense is, I believe they can do it. In the last two games where they had to face Blake Bortles and I think Chad Henne was the other quarterback, if I remember correctly. It may not have been him. I may not remember, but I know in 2012 it was Blake Bortles. And Chad Henne came in relief. But whoever it was in 2016, they did a pretty good job in both cases. And if they can do a similar kind of job tomorrow in containing Gardner Minshew, that's half the battle won. But again, they're going to need to hold them to about 112 yards or about 110 yards rushing. And considering that the Jaguars are ranked 26th in rushing, I think it's very achievable for sure. So if they're able to do that, I think they'll be able to win. I think clearly it's going to come down to whether or not they can stop the run. If they do, I believe they'll win. And if they don't, I don't think they will. In the next segment, I'm going to talk about the Jaguars closing their facility yesterday and how this may impact tomorrow's game the way I know it as of right now. Stay tuned to the Detroit Lions tomorrow on Ed's Sports Channel.